Greetings everyone and welcome to your final exam. For your final exam, I chose to leave you with a powerful learning module that will teach you about UDL, or Universal Design for Learning. This learning module has 5 parts. You can see those parts going across the top as well as on the left side. To begin, you start with the challenge, and in the challenge there's a short video to watch, and you'll notice that it's 2 minutes and 41 seconds. Once you watch the video, you can select next, and on this page you will have 2 questions to provide your reflections on. There are no right and wrong answers to these questions, so you'll notice that it says jot down your initial thoughts about the challenge. Now these can be bulleted items if you like, or it can be paragraph prose, whichever one you choose. Once you've completed that, you go to next. In this part of the module, you'll see your objectives. You'll see that you need to understand the principles of UDL, and you also need to be able to apply those principles. When you're ready to start this part of the module, you'll click through the bottom here through these different numbers. So you click on page 1. You'll have some stuff to read. You also have some tables that show you some compare and contrast between traditional instruction and universal design for instruction. And you may want to take some notes for yourself so that you can take this with you as you leave as well. Or you can always come back to this module because these modules are free. And then at the end of some parts of this part of the module, you will see some short recordings. You should listen to these items so that you can hear what the researchers have to say. So this is the chief scientist on this project for UDL, and this is someone that he works with as well. So you can hear their perspectives about UDL. And then you continue to click through each part of this part of the module, and again make sure you scroll down and complete each part of it. Some parts will have little tasks for you to do. And you also have links that'll take you out to different resources. So for this one where it says representation, you're supposed to provide multiple examples. And an example of that is in math class, you can provide multiple examples by having an equation, a graph that represents that equation, as well as a table that represents that equation. And also it can be in written format. So that could be 4 different examples of the same thing. And so multiple examples of representation is something that you'll learn about. So make sure you click through some of these links. For example, if you click here, this will just show you some examples, and there's nothing really to record here, but you just want to make sure you understand that part as much as you can. And then let's click back, and then you want to keep going through the module. Here you get 2 examples, one of a traditional lesson plan and one of a UDL lesson plan. And then you get some examples for visual learners, auditory learners. So these are topics that you've probably learned about, but this will give you some specific researched examples that you can use and take with you. And then more examples here. And you want to keep doing that in that part until you get to the end. And here you want to click on these. These give you little information about implementation issues. You should read through these. They're fairly short. And then here you have resources and references, and of course you can put these in your Digo account so that you can get to these items, and you could have a section, you could tag them as UDL so that you know exactly what they are and you'll know exactly how to get to them. And then you keep going, and now you look at the developers. This just gives you some background information. Then there's a wrap-up, so make sure you read through this to complete the wrap-up. And then it says revisiting initial thoughts. Now at this point you need to look at what you did on the initial thoughts, and then you need to write what has changed and what you've learned. So make sure you go back and look at what you wrote in the beginning, and then answer those questions again and see what has changed since you've been through this whole process. And finally you'll have your assessment, and you need to answer all of these questions and you'll submit a document that has responses to all of these plus what you wrote down in your initial thoughts and then the reflection on those initial thoughts that we just looked at in the wrap up. So you can put all of that in one document. So you should have 1 through 5 here in the final assessment, plus the questions you answered at the very beginning for initial thoughts, and then the reflection on your initial thoughts after you completed the module. And that will wrap up your exam, and you'll submit either a Word document or a Google Doc to Canvas, and that will complete our time together. And hopefully this will be a learning experience that you can take with you in your other methods courses as well as into the field.